Hello friends, today I'm going to talk about what is switch, why do we use switch, ports of switch, and what are the switching methods we have in switch. Let's talk about this and jump into this. First I would like to talk about switch. So the first question come in the mind, what is switch and how does that work? So switch is a networking device which connects two or more computers together. So I can say it can connect multiple computers together in star topology. So it creates a star topology. Here is the example I can see here. Next I talk about is switch is a central device. We commonly use this is a central device and all devices are connected to this. So it's like a wheel of a car. Then common switch performs layer 2 functions. Yeah, there are number of switches or all kind of switches I can not number of all type of switches they perform layer 2 functions, but in the market nowadays layer 3 switches are also available. So switch works at data link layer. Yeah, that's correct, but some of the switches they work at network layer as well, because those switches are called multi-layer switches and they can perform routing features as well. Switch takes decision based on the MAC addresses. So every PC or every network device they have a MAC address, and switches can take decision based on reading the MAC address. So switch will read the source MAC address and the destination MAC address will decide what MAC addresses switch is storing in the table. The table I am defining here is the MAC table. So switch will always have look at MAC address table and will take decision. Each port is a collision domain. So collision domain I can say is the area where collision can occur. So switch has multiple areas. How can we define multiple areas? I would define here like this. Here is my one device switch internal circuitry. If I talk about like these are my roads, but I say this one road is connected to this road, again one number is connected to this road as well. Bad at drawing. This road is connected to this again road is connected to this and this road is connected to this. So road means here the circuit internal circuitry I would say. So if I have one PC and one more PC connected here and they want to send data, there is a separate route available. So one route is there here going from this device to this device, but there is another route going to this device, going to another device. So I say here one link is one collision domain, one link is one collision domain. So these pieces, if they are talking, they are sharing information, where can collision occur? Collision can occur on this road, not on other road. So that's why we call it multiple collision domain in switch. And this is again to reduce the collision, because in hub if I compare, in hub there is a single road like a bus topology, one port here, one port here, another port here, another port here. So one PC here I say, and one PC here I would say, and one PC here, like that. So if you want to send data from this PC to this PC, there is single load, single circuitry inside. So collision can occur here. So hub has only one collision domain because all devices they are sharing single path. But here all devices they are sharing different paths. That is again advantage of using a switch. Some other thing about switch. Switch has MAC address table. Every time whenever any device sends frame to switch, switch is gonna store the MAC address. That is again advantage. Now question comes in the mind is, why do we use switch? So the first Answer was switch has multiple ports. If you want to connect two or more devices, then you can use switch. Next, I would say switch can be in half duplex mode and can be in full duplex mode. Half duplex, two-way communication but not at a time. Full duplex, two-way communication but at a time. Each port is a collision domain. As I described, what is a collision domain? Is the area where collision can occur. So there are a number of areas for one port the collision can occur. Now, there is no collision in full duplex. That is again beauty of a switch. If you have full duplex switch, there is no collision term. We can use that. Next thing, we have some types of devices in the market: manageable switch and unmanageable switch. So there are very cheap devices available. You don't need to manage. Just bring the device at home and connect the power cord to device and start using that. That's again easy to use. But if you really want manageable device and you want to control your entire traffic, you can use manageable device, but that device will be costly. But again, depends. If you want feature, then you can go for costly device. So features, like what kind of features we get generally in switch? You can control your traffic. You can divide traffic into multiple domains. You can have port security. You can enable the port, disable the port. You can change the duplex mode, speed of the port. Everything you can do in the manageable switch. Another beauty of using switch is switch performs data forwarding in hardware. So there is a special chip for processing data, reading the MAC address table and taking decision based on the MAC address table and forwarding data immediately. That occurs in ASIC hardware. So that's why we use switch. Otherwise we can use router as a switch, but we don't need that. Next thing I would say is switch, of course, can function in layer 2 and layer 3. No data flooding every time, but still there is a data flooding, and the data flooding will happen only when there is no MAC address table, or no MAC addresses are stored in the MAC address table. If MAC addresses are stored, source and destination MAC addresses are stored in the MAC table, then that will be unicast. Otherwise, switch is gonna forward the traffic to all the ports. It's not like hub is gonna forward every time to every device. It's like once you have the appropriate table, then you are gonna send unicast traffic, not broadcast traffic. CAM table stores MAC address. Here is one type of chip available in switch which is called CAM chip, content addressable memory. This is called CAM chip. Some people will call it CAM table. Some people call it MAC address table. Both terms are similar. So either you can call it CAM table or MAC address table. Why do we call it CAM table? Because of this chip name, CAM table. By default, switch stores MAC address for 300 sec, means 5 minutes. So switch can store MAC address up to 5 minutes. In the manageable switch, you can decide how long do you want to keep the MAC address in your MAC address table. That is also available. Now switch is an intelligent device and can provide loop prevention and redundancy. So how does that work actually? Switch can automatically detect where loop is occurring. So if I say there is a device connected, there is another device connected, and there is another device connected. So 3 switches if I would say, and if I connect all devices like this, what's going to happen? One device is going to send packet from this location, this device is going to send packet from this computer to this computer. Then there can be a possibility to create the loop, because traffic can go this side, and this side, and this packet again twice, and then this packet is coming back, can go there. So this is kind of loop is occurring in the network. So switch can decide okay where the loop is and can block a particular port and can detect the loop. Again, the redundancy, I would say, if this link is going down, switch can bring this port up. So there is a kind of redundancy available in switches. Again, the beauty of switch, that's why we use switch here. Next thing, I would say ports of switch. Let's describe all these. First, I would say administrative port, and the administrative port we use for managing the device, and the most popular port is console port, which is here. Console, it looks like RJ45. So first time when you are going to configure the device, you need to connect to console port. There is a separate port called Ethernet management port. Once you configure your device, you assign IP address, you can assign IP address to this Ethernet management interface, and if you want to control the device, you can control using Ethernet management port. Separate port is there. Some other term I would say is LAN port. You will see different types of LAN port like fast Ethernet, gigabit, 10 gigabit. Mostly I have seen 10 gigabit and gigabit nowadays because of the high speed, and people are moving forward to get high speed every time. So LAN ports are also available. Here are kind of modules available here. To insert a pluggable module, you can plug in a small module inside this block, and you can convert this block into a port. That is also available. So we call it SFP module. From the market you can get, okay, I want the SFP module which has the fiber port or STSC port, whatever port you want to use, you can use here. So SFP module also you would see in switches, you can get it. Uplink port, generally this is a different type of port we use to connect switches together. You will not see in all the devices, but in some devices you will see uplink port which can say, okay, if you want to connect one switch to another switch, you use uplink instead of using other port, you use uplink, so you will be aware, okay, the connection between switches is uplink. That's again the agenda to have the uplink, but in this device you don't see any uplink because it's not available. You might see USB, and you can control your device using USB port as well. Nowadays console port is not available in some devices, but USB port, micro USB port is available to access the device and configure the device first time. This type of device is also available in the market. There is another port called stack port, and a stack port we use to make the bundle of devices. If you want to combine 3 to 4 devices and want to make a single device, then you can use stack port. So here is uplink port. I can show you in this device is available, not in every devices, but in some devices. Here is one stack port, and you can see 1 2 3 4 devices are now acting as a single box. So we have single box with multiple switches. That's the again beauty of using a stacking cable. Okay, some other thing I would like to talk about. Next slide. Okay, how to connect a switch? Generally we have some methods to connect. We require a cable, of course. We require some type of converter if we don't have. And to access, how can we manage? We can manage in two modes, in CLI mode and GUI mode. Mostly I used CLI most, and I prefer CLI because I learned everything on CLI. Sometimes I use GUI. If I'm lazy, then I can go with GUI mode. Accessing tools you require is one with some of the tools we call it emulator tools. PuTTY, SecurCRT, Hyperterminal, these are the tools we use to access the device, even first time or anytime whenever you want, using IP or using serial port. Web browser is another utility, and some other utilities available in the market, or you can say vendor specific, so you can use those utility to access. Now I say here how would you connect your switch to PC. There is one thing you can use that. This is a console port. Always remember, console port you require, and you require a rollover cable, we call it console cable, and here you require DB9 to RJ45 converter, or here DB9 to USB as well. If you want to connect it to USB, that is also available in the market. Okay, next thing I would say, how does this switch work? Let's understand that as well. So first time I would always say switch takes decision based on the MAC address. If there is no MAC address in the table, of course switch is gonna flood all the traffic. So in two cases switch can flood the traffic. One case, when switch does not have the MAC address, then it's gonna flood traffic to all the ports. The second case, when the MAC address table is full, then switch is gonna flood traffic to all the ports. So two circumstances I can say. So first thing, what happens when PC1 sends packets for PC3, switch is gonna receive that, and switch is gonna update the MAC address table and gonna say, okay, I got one MAC address from port number 1. So it's gonna say, okay, MAC address A coming is going to MAC address B. Switch is gonna say, okay, interface is port 1, MAC address is A, and what is the MAC address? Where is the MAC address B? So switch does not know initially. So switch is gonna forward packet here, and to another devices if they are connected. So let's understand. First packet came to switch. Switch is gonna update the MAC address table. On port number 1 is say MAC PC1. Then switch says, okay, I don't know what is the MAC address of PC3. Is gonna then send packet to all the devices. Next, it's gonna say, okay, PC3 received frame, PC2 discards the frame because that frame was not for PC2. The frame I am referring as a data. So frame is coming back to switch 1. Now switch knows, okay, what is the MAC address of PC3, and switch knows what is the MAC address of PC1. So it's gonna send unicast. It's not gonna broadcast the traffic. That's how switch updates the MAC address table and forwards the packet based on the MAC address table. Now there are certain switching forwarding methods. So let's understand what are these. Store and forward switching. Store and forward switching method mostly available in access layer devices. And what does it do is this. Whenever any frame comes to switch is gonna read the frame entirely and gonna see, okay, what is the frame size. Frame size must be more than 64 bytes and should not be more than 51518. Gonna decide, okay, frame is too small or too large. Then it's gonna check the error. Is there any error in the frame using some CRC? Then it's gonna forward the frame. So it takes some time to read the frame and decide the frame is error free or what. So it stores the frame in buffer and sends the frame when the frame is okay. So high latency because of this. Now the next one is cut through switching, and mostly this type of switching method is used in core layer devices where we have huge amount of traffic, and this is brilliant and so fast, but there is no error free guarantee because it's gonna read only destination MAC address of the device. Whenever any frame comes to device, switch is gonna read, okay, then I'm gonna look at destination MAC address and gonna forward it to my destination. That's it. It's not gonna see what are the fields in the frame, is that error free, or what is the source MAC address. Everything is not gonna look at. It's gonna look at, okay, destination MAC address and gonna forward immediately. That's it. The next one is fragment free. The fragment free uh, came from cut through switching because it's gonna read frame up to 64 bytes. So if I say fragment free would read frame starting from, okay, here to up to 64 bytes, that's it. So mostly errors you see in the frame is from the 64 bytes. So a lot of error in the data is in 64 bytes. So fragment free reads 64 bytes and sends the data. So there is a medium latency, but in cut through switching, no latency, very less latency, not no latency. Okay, low latency I can say, high latency time, but here is medium. So this one, store and forward, generally is used in access layer devices mostly. This one mostly used in core layer devices. This one you can change according to your environment if you want to change, but we can configure in distribution layer devices. So distribution layer devices like medium category of devices where we don't have much traffic and we don't have less traffic. So this is the hierarchy model, I can say. Yeah, this is all about switching. I hope you like my video, and if you like, please share, subscribe and comment if you have any query. Thank you for watching the video. Bye bye.